Hi, welcome back to my channel. So last week we talked about the Draco project and how I finished that one. And finishing that one got me really inspired. So I picked up the other one that I hadn't finished yet. So yes, if you're thinking, I finished Mandala version 2. So this really shouldn't be much of a surprise. I shared a picture on Facebook at the end of last week. But here she is. She's so pretty, very vibrant, very, very light. I love the mandala yarns, how they're so light, and I can use my mandala blanket for like year round, and which is what I'm really hoping this one will be good for too. So originally the mandala version 2 was going to be 4 big granny squares, each made of 2 balls of mandala yarn and gnome, and then with edging with the this silvery, here's my other version 1, using the same like silvery gray yarn. But I had tried on the Draco project to do the same thing, and I just couldn't get a good even stitch. Like it just, the way the blanket was constructed, like the tension I was putting on the edging wasn't working with the blanket. So I went for a more creative approach, and that would be to edge the blanket in the yarn that I was using, which I think was a fantastic idea, because we have these beautiful transitions and these ombres and patterns, and then you can see it does the same thing in the edging. This edging is 3 rows of single crochet. I didn't like the idea of going through with a chain stitch as the final row. I just feel like it would be too formal feeling for this blanket, and nothing about this blanket feels very formal or like serious. So I decided to keep just the edging of single crochet, and I definitely think this blanket was a lot better. It was a lot easier to make. I feel like the technique is just better. I have better tension on this than I do on the triangles. Where was I? Yeah, so basically, when I bought my yarn, I didn't buy it in person because it was really hard to find gnome in person. And then when I bought all the materials is when lockdown happened. So I couldn't go into a craft store to make sure all of the skeins that I was buying had the same pattern in the color, like how the color repeats. So that nixed the entire idea of doing 4 big squares and then stitching them together and putting edging on. So instead of doing 4 big squares, I did this one huge square. Yes, I am washing this again before I put it up because sweaty hands, and I'm curled up with it right now, but it's warm. And I love that it starts with this green center and then suddenly just explodes into vibrant colors. So the original Mandala yarn skeins are like 2 of the Mandala sparkle. So it takes 2 of those to equal 1 of these, which is also, I'm really glad I didn't like change the kind of yarn I used for this one, because I don't think I could have created such a beautiful piece otherwise. And I love that it's simple and it's colorful, but at the same time it's dynamic. It has depth. It kind of has the like a 3D feel, from like the like muted center to the vibrant edging. So and this mandala yarn is just amazing. I cannot emphasize enough on how much I love the mandala. The Lion brand makes some fantastic yarn. Definitely worth the price point. Definitely worth it because the quality is fantastic. Their basic yarns are great, but I would consider the mandala like a specialty yarn, and definitely recommend. It's very user friendly. It doesn't fray. It doesn't untwist itself. So like the fibers don't come untwisted, like if you accidentally like split the stitch, or like if you cut your yarn, it doesn't fray, it doesn't fall apart. I have yet to try to wash one of these, and I'm really scared to do so because I obviously don't want my work of art to fall apart. But it's just freeing to have this project done finally. Again, this is when I was very concerned about finishing. I didn't feel like I was going to be able to finish in time for Christmas. Which, now that I have it done, I really just want to go give it to the person now. But I definitely want to keep using the mandala yarns to make blankets. In fact, I think I exclusively want to use those yarns to make blankets. And I think that's it, because I'm just at a loss for words for how excited I am that I hadn't finished 1 blanket in 2020. I finished 3. It's so cool, because you can definitely see a difference. So here's version 1. You can tell like there's a major difference with the craftsmanship of the blankets. This one does not have a lot of holes in it, but this one feels more uniform. So that's one of those things I like, is uniformity. Not that I don't like that blanket. I love that blanket. Favorite blanket. But if I had made this one for myself, this one would ultimately be my favorite, because I feel like I constructed it a lot better. I put a little more effort into it. It's not something that I just rushed through it just to get it done. Yes, it took me a few months longer than I expected, because originally this was going to be a birthday present and was supposed to be done in May. But when your life is kind of in a weird shambles, I guess it falling apart completely, but it's got a few choice threads. Sometimes the desire to craft and make things goes to the wayside. Anyway, so like I said in my last video with the Draco project, I'm going to be taking a couple weeks off. I am tired. I need to relax and take care of myself. That doesn't mean I'm not going to keep crafting. It just means that there's probably going to be a couple weeks where you don't see a video here. Granted, I would like to make sure I have everything set up so I don't have to take time off, or that if I do take time off, it would be seamless for you guys who watch these. Kind of. No one watches my videos. So you can hit like and subscribe here to follow this channel to find out when I am posting videos. You can find me on Facebook and like me there. I post semi-regularly, and I post occasionally on Instagram. We've got some fun things coming, I think. I'm not going to spoil those yet because I think that's going to be its own video where I'm hopefully in a little bit better lighting. But thank you guys for bearing with me in all my weird lighting experiments and my setup experiments, and just the fact that my crafting life is just one big experiment. I'm basically a craft scientist. You guys have a great rest of your week. I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving, and carry your positive energy and your mask wearing and your hand sanitizing and washing all the way through to 2021, and I'll see you soon. Bye.